Well, I don't know. French. Yeah, I know. Right, they're right now.
Yeah. I do it the same way.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, I'm.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Kingston Planning Board meeting. Tonight is November 20th. We are at City Hall. My name is Suzanne Cahill. I'm the Planning Director, and it is 6:04 p.m. I'm going to introduce Wayne, and then he will introduce the protocols and introduce board members and other staff present.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, welcome, everybody. Introductions, I'm Wayne Platt Jr. We also have members Charles Palaco, Robert Jacobson, Matt Gillis, Vince Archer, Sage Newkirk, Andrew Harris, and Kyra Grundig. We already have seen Suzanne Cahill, the planning director, Kyla D. Day is the assistant planner. We have Matthew Jankowski, the assistant corporation counsel. And we have Alderwoman Sarah Pasty. She's the common council liaison to the planning. Item number, okay, some housekeeping rules beforehand. If we have an emergency, we're going to use the stairway to head out of the building down to the ground floor. Not going to use the elevators. The bathrooms on this floor are out of order. So we're going to have one floor for that. The men's room is by the mayor's office and the women's room is on the other end of the hallway from that. I ask folks to silence their cell phones at this time. And they have the whole council chambers out there. If you need to have a discussion, you can certainly use that. So, okay. Item number 1 on the agenda is the adoption of the October 16, 2023 Planning Board meeting minutes and transcripts. Everybody's had an opportunity to take a look at them. Any questions, deletions, or additions recommended? Being none, I'll make a motion that we adopt it. Do I have a second? Second by Charles Palaco. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right, moving on to public hearings. Item number 2 is 44 Maiden Lane, special permit renewal / amendment for a bed and breakfast. Section block and lot is 56.91-5-20. Secret determination, Transect zone is T4N-0. Ward 4, Maiden Lane LLC is the applicant owner. Anybody besides the applicant owner wishing to speak on item 2? Is the representative there? Okay. Can we move on this anyway, or do we need to have her?
Yeah, we have a couple questions, so if you want to just maybe come back to it.
Okay, do that. Item number 3 is 124-134 East Strand and 136-198 East Strand, lot line revision of the lands of historic Kingston waterfront, L&M LLC, section block and lot is 56.43-6-6 and 56.46-1-8. Secret determination, Transect is SD-W/SD-WMU. It's a heritage area. Coastal zone, historic Kingston waterfront, L&M LLC is the applicant owner. Anybody besides the applicant owner wishing to speak on item number 3? Okay.
Chris is here. Chris out.
Oh, Chris, come on up here. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Let the record show that Chris Zell is here. Okay. Robert Jacobson is going to recuse himself because of a prior relationship with the applicant. Here's item number 2. So, Sage, you are in. All right, Chris, I've got a picture
Okay.
behind you.
This is basically a simple lot line revision between 2 parcels owned by Historic Waterfront. We want to eliminate this lot line right here, making the parcel run from, the smaller parcel run from here to here, and the remaining parcel on that end will stay the same. The purpose of this basically is to balance out the two parcels. Right now, this parcel is a very small parcel. It will end up being 1.108 acres. And after the property is transferred from parcel number 8 to parcel number 6, that will be 1.014 acres. So it kind of balances out the acreage between the two parcels. And it doesn't totally split the waterfront, but it makes the waterfront more even. And it eliminates an encroachment of the property line to the building.
And just for relationship purposes, where are we on East Strand? What street's that coming down, right?
This is actually a driveway. This is the Cornell building right here,
Okay,
and this is Old Savannah right here.
okay.
So it's Old Savannah, the Cornell building. This easement right here is the outfall from the sewer treatment plant. And that lies on parcel number 6. So as it stands now, parcel number 6 only had 145 feet of water frontage, and 30 of it was encumbered by the outfall to the sewer treatment plant. So they just kind of want to split them up a little more evenly.
Any issues with staff? No. Okay. Any questions from the board? All right, so under seeker, this is a type 2 action, so no further review before is required. This time I'll make a motion that we approve item number 3 with work policy 6 and written descriptions of the parcels and the copy, the standard copies of the maps, the Mylar, what have you. So that is a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Matt Gillis. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Good seeing you. Go back and drop it. We can let you. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Good evening. Hi, Chris.
That'd be a good thing.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, item number 4 is 100 Lucas Avenue. It's a special permit renewal for a radio communication antenna. Section block and lot is 56.89-2, -25.200. Seeker determination, transect zone T3N, Ward 1, Seventh-day Adventist Church is the applicant owner. Anybody besides the applicant who wishes to speak on item number 4?
Okay. Let's move on and we'll come back and see. What we got.
All right. All right, item number. Right? Was that the, that's the one he
Yeah.
recused himself, right?
Yeah.
Item number 5 is 100 Green Hill Avenue in Perens 13 South Prospect Street. Special permit to establish an auto body repair facility. Section block and lot is 56.25-5-29. Seeker determination, transect zone T5F, Ward 5. Anthony Tampone / Specialty Motor Car Company is the applicant. Edward Latin is the owner. Anybody besides the applicant wishing to speak on item number 5? They going to head out again?
Sorry.
All right.
So prior.
I'm heard from a lot of people.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so Junior Tampone is here. How are you? Good to see you.
Alright.
And Sage, you're back in.
Okay.
All right, so this is Ace Oil, right? The building?
Yep, yeah.
So.
So the first address is the back half of Base Oil, but it's the same building, yeah.
Okay. All right, so, yeah, tell us what you got going on there.
So, the plan is to occupy the building in 2 stages. We're currently leasing this section of the building right here. And need a special permit in order to start operations for auto repair shop and dealership. Long-term plan, we're working on purchasing the building right now, and we'll eventually occupy the spot that Ace Oil also has, which is the 13 South Prospect address. What we do is we're like a low volume, small, like very bespoke automotive repair shop. We only work on things that you typically don't see around. Most of the things we do are projects. They take, weeks or months sometimes to go. So it's not like in and out kind of, nothing like a Mavis kind of place,
So you're not getting like parts deliveries on a daily basis?
The most often something would show up would be like once a day, it's not in and out stuff on a regular basis. Typically, we were on Malden Turnpike in Saugerties, and, if there were 5 or 6 cars a day rolling through, that would be like a busy day, so it's pretty low traffic. So what you kind of see here is like the finished plan, as long as everything works out with acquiring the property and fully occupying the building. We're only looking at the warehouse building. The lot is this kind of weird shape, kind of wraps all around here, and also includes these other 2 buildings that are not part of this operation. Those are some offices, there's like an apartment in there, and some other offices in those buildings they're like kind of all kind of attached, but they're separate. They're actually separate buildings. They're just all butted up against each other. So,
And board members, you're familiar with where this property is? It's Green Hills up on the top, and you got South Prospect, and then the CSX is on the right
the
side.
CSX is right
That's
here,
okay.
and the Metro building is right across the street from South Prospect. That's the Metro right there. Yeah.
Anthony, maybe you can just kind of stand up and just kind of show the boundary of the property, because it is really a very irregularly shaped
Yeah,
lot.
so this is the lot, right? The lot goes like this, all here. And then down here, there is the lot kind of comes here and about like into this road by like a few feet, and then jets back down and then goes across, and it actually includes across the street on Hilton Place, right up to 10 here, and then comes back this way, and wraps around like that. So it's a pretty oddly shaped,
Yeah.
it's a very oddly shaped parcel. And it's kind of a big parcel, and Hilton Place goes through, according to DPW, which, I guess still have to confirm this with engineering, Hilton Place actually ends like right here, which is where the property line comes across. So it's paved to like here-ish. This is like generally, it's like a dirt road that has been used. I mean, it's on the 1929 Sanborn fire map, so it's been there for a long time. And then you can kind of drive around here, but that's not actually a road on the backside. And if you know where the CSX yard, where DPW is staging all of the road work for Midtown right now, that's this spot right on that side right there.
So your intent is only to use the access off
Hilton Place, yeah. I mean, you can drive around there, but you don't want to drive anything that's not a truck through there, so, yeah. Yeah,
And what's the time, I mean, I know we asked some of these questions and you kind of responded to us verbally, but just for the board members. What's your timing on purchasing the property?
Hopefully sometime next year, if all goes through.
Okay.
So, it's an old site. There are definitely environmental concerns here that we're gonna have to work through. And so, who knows how long that we're gonna have to definitely do like phase 1 and 2 environmental studies and kind of see whether or not there's a problem there. The site had been, it had been a painting facility back at the turn of the century. So who knows what's going on here?
That's a good
But-
shot there.
What's that?
I said, that's a good shot, but now we got a first.
Area.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, so I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is, it's pretty, we found a really old survey actually just a few days ago. So that's actually not quite right, but it's about halfway through is where that corner is, through where the dirt road there is. But you kind of get a rough idea of where the lot line is, but.
So you have a year lease, is that?
Right now, I have a 10-year lease, but
You have a
it's what it has the, the purchase is in the lease,
The
so,
option five.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's, so we're working through that, yeah, you can see the lot there.
And you'll be doing some sales there too?
Yeah, so we do collection management, so we don't really display cars for sale. We buy and sell on behalf of our clients. So it's not, we don't need technically by New York State DMV regulations, we need like a display space, like to park at least 3 cars for display. I've never parked a car out for display ever, so it's not a requirement. The goal, once we occupy the front half, would be to have some part of that laid out for vehicles for display, but it would all be inside. Want to do like a nice big glass door for the garage door there to make it like big and open looking. But those things will have to wait until we actually own the property and can occupy the front half. If things go well, Ace is supposed to be out of there like sometime towards the end of the winter. We'll, the goal is to start working on the front half of the building, as long as we're moving forward, but, at the very minimum, right now, the spot that we're in right now, which is the back half, which is basically the building from this point back, to, just reestablish the business. The state licensing right now with DMV is all on hold because we lost the other space, because that building got sold and the purchaser had their own ideas for what they were going to use the building for. So we had to find a space in pretty short order.
Well, it's unfortunate that you had to leave your space out there, but
Yeah.
it's good that you're down.
Yeah, at least I can walk here from my house.
That's true.
So the work that you do on the vehicles, is it just motor based or is it painting, finishing?
No painting or finishing.
None of that.
It's no auto body stuff. It's all mechanical, detailing and that kind of stuff.
Upholstery or anything like that?
Some upholstery work, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but no painting, so
Okay.
there's like a kind of a different environment concern with painting. There's like not a whole lot of waste, we had actually put in the application for proposing to use like a shipping container to manage the waste, and we're getting rid of that idea. All the work I've done with the code, I thought that I've read this thing over a dozen times, and I totally missed that part. So we'll manage the waste inside the building. I don't want to have anything outside. It just looks trashy, and it's not kind of the operation that I want to have. So, and if you've been by this building looks terrible. We've already removed tons of brush, and we'll continue to do that. Unfortunately, a lot of the cosmetic repairs we're going to do right now are going to be focused on the back half of the building where we are, and then as we get it, we'll be able to, do all the cosmetic repairs to the front, but, we want to make it look
Could you
nice.
talk a little bit about, like, you had shown some landscaping improvements and all that, maybe you
Yeah.
can speak to that, that's a good time.
Yeah, I don't know if you can put up the image that I sent. I mean, mostly, so there's green space here, there's actually less equipment than is in this now, but there's still a whole bunch of like old equipment there. Once we own the property, want to clean all that up and maintain this as green space. This will also be maintained as green space, some plantings and whatnot here, remove all this, this whole corner of the thing is like way overgrown, so we'll pull all that out. And, do some plantings there, kind of make that look nice. The entrance here, this is all paved. There's no sidewalk here and there's no snow green space, there. So there are two planters there with these weird little roofs on them. At the bare minimum, we'll rip those roofs off of it and fill the planters with some plantings. And, it's kind of what,
And so these are items that can be taken care of on staff, right?
With landscaping?
yeah, I mean, well,
Yeah.
the goal is to make it look nice. Certainly don't want it to look as ignored as it kind of does right now. If there's a specific request, yeah, you can see how overgrown and kind of how that looks. So probably there's this little bit of spot there, maybe some hedges along the fence. That chain link fence that's there is like 8 feet high. I'd like to cut that down a little bit. There's a gate and everything there. Probably put some hedges right in front of that. There's not a lot of space there though for landscaping unless we start ripping into on the pavement. So, but doing the best. Yeah, I mean, that shows it with it's the Hilton Place side. So, we'll do some plantings and whatnot here and pull all the debris out, make that look a little bit better. And then, yeah, this is roughly what it would look like from, South Prospect, once we get finished there. But add some hedges, maybe cut that chain link fence down a little bit. It's a little too tall for, I'm not really a big fan of chain link fences anyway, but it's already there, so. And this neighbor, this is a privacy chain link fence and they seem to have wanted it there, so we'll leave that there.
Yeah, signage maybe.
Yeah, the signs will all be mounted on the building. You can see here that this is the proposed final spot where the signs will go. There's the 3 DMV signs, and then there's a small, that's the business sign. Right now, we propose to put them on the side of the building. I sent a weird little kind of photoshopped it on the side of the existing building.
So nothing out at the end of Hilton Place or anything like that to direct people for the time being to the back? You don't feel that you need that?
Don't need any of
at this
that.
point?
Yeah, anybody that's coming there knows
Right.
exactly where they're
Where they're
going.
going.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
not, there's no need for any big signage, nothing right on the street, at all. The DMV regulations say that the DMV signs need to be visible from the public street, so I can't actually put them on the entrance side of
Right.
the back part of the building. They have to be on the side facing Hilton Place.
Right.
So, so that's why I kind of put them on the side of the loading dock there, which I sent in a photo of
Are you changing you're not changing any of the lighting on the building?
Not any positions of it. All, the fixtures, these are what's already in those spaces where I have the downlights
Right.
there are those outward projector, terrible looking, lights, so we'll swap those fixtures just for some nice, nice look, like downlighting. So that there's no visible
Okay.
bulbs or any of that kind of stuff. We're not adding any additional lighting. All that lighting is already there. It's just, all those, there are fixtures already in those spots. They're just
We're
terrible.
just gonna replace
They're
the
just
fixture
terrible
with
fixtures.
something that's more compatible.
Yeah. And also up to date with our current code, because like those projector lights
Yeah.
are no longer allowed.
You can be open six days a week, or?
We do pickups and drop-offs often on the weekend. Typically, there's not really work happening on the weekends, but a lot of our clients are like weekender type of people, so pickups and drop-offs sometimes will happen on Saturday or Sunday. But, there's not really activity happening at that point in time. Typically, it's, roughly 5 days a week, but everything is, it's all appointment only as far as the clients go. Most of the time, we actually don't pick up the vehicles and bring them, so it's probably only like 30% of clients actually come to the space with their own stuff. So
What about, garbage? I mean, I know you
There's a
said that
dump-
we're taking the storage unit.
yeah, there's a dumpster that's actually kind of like right here in the corner here,
Okay.
in this parking lot, and we'll continue to use that.
Okay,
And then, the only thing that's kind of unique is the scrap metal and scrap tire storage, which there's like a dilapidated kind of loading dock on the side that we're gonna have to do some repair, and we'll probably just keep all that stuff there so that we can just unload it. And we don't like to keep any of that stuff in the workshop space, kind of keep it, nice and clean in there. So
is
so
that
that-
the area where the roof was, where you?
So there's a
identified the roof being?
there, maybe if that's, so in the, if you scroll up, this is the PDF file I sent, yeah, if you scroll up to the top, you'll see, in the drawing. Yeah, so this is all totally failed and has to come off. It's actually mostly fallen off already by itself. This we don't know about, once we'll be able to get in here. These are offices right now, but there's this little kind of loading dock area here that we'll be able to stage all the scrap stuff in, and, really won't use it as a loading dock, but we'll be able to put that there so that we just have to get rid of it a little bit more often. It's not that big of a deal, so, but, again, I don't want to keep anything outside, so.
So it's not gonna be screened? I guess that's what I'm concerned.
It'll be inside, so it doesn't.
It's be considered open storage, so we wouldn't need it to be screened from view from the street.
Oh, no, it's inside.
Oh, so it'd be
It's
interior?
inside, yeah,
Oh, okay.
there's
So it
no,
couldn't be inside.
what's that?
I thought you said it couldn't be inside.
No, it can be inside, yeah,
Oh, okay.
no, it's, I don't want it, like, in the workspace, I guess. is what-
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
so,
I got
but this is all enclosed, that little spot there, so, it won't be visible at all from
Okay.
outside, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions from board members? And everybody's comfortable with having landscaping details taken care of, et cetera? We have to talk about a term. I know you've been in business for a while, but this is something we generally applied it, well, we have applied to everybody when it comes to establishing a term. First time, it's like we do a year, right? Everybody's good with that. And then come back and things are good, then we'll
Well, with renewals now under the new code, as long as there are no changes to the application, and it's just a straight renewal, it's all administrative. You don't come back to the board
Yeah.
at all.
and we can just
If
build that
you
into
decide
the.
to change anything, you would come back and reapply
Yeah.
to amend you, like if you put an addition on the building,
Yeah.
you would come back to the board earlier if need be, but you work it out.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Sue?
No.
Okay. Thank you for that. Under seeker, it's a type 2 action, so no further review of this form is required. This time, I'll make a motion that we approve item number 5, for a period of 1 year. And what conditions do you have on there? Okay. We have board policies 4, 4A, 6, 10, 12, 14, 19, and 25. 25 is a Knox box. I don't know if there's one, I don't think there's one.
There's not one on there, but we'll get one.
Remove the shipping container from the plan.
Mhm.
Replace light fixtures with downlight.
Mhm.
Clean up property, restore green space areas. Final landscaping will be taken care of on staff level and reduce the fence height on South Prospect Street. Right. Right, that's a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Matt Gillis. All in favor? Aye, opposed, carried. Thank you, sir. Good seeing you.
You as well.
All right.
The rest of your evening goes smooth and everybody gets out of here at early hours.
You Saturday this year.
Okay, hey, how are you? We gotta go get Robert again. Look at you down. Say, can you go get Robert again?
Yep,
Please.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, back to item number 4. It's a special permit. This is 100 Lucas Avenue. Special permit renewal for a radio communication antenna. Section block and lot is 56.89-2-25.200. Secret determination, transect zone T3N, Ward 1, Seventh-day Adventist Church is the applicant owner. Nobody rose to speak about this before, so we're in the public hearing, so you're on. Welcome. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Michael Lawrence.
Yeah.
Apologize.
Oh, it's okay. You're here. You're here, man. All right. And Robert Jacobson is back in the mix here. Again? Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to this.
You did not by chance bring a photograph of the antenna in place, did you?
I have a copy of my phone.
Okay, if you can email that to us for our file, I think we had wanted one, we still have the drawing
Okay.
of it before it was installed. And so because we're renewing this now, we want to make sure we get a photo of it actually on the building. Okay, thank you. If you can just email that to Kyla or our office tomorrow, that'd be great.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
And that's the only issue you have with this, right?
Yeah, I mean, everything
No-
else.
no changes?
No,
No
sir.
complaints, no changes.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Any questions from the board? All right, let me sign this first.
You recused on that one.
Under seeker, it's a type 2 action, so no further review of the board is required. There's no required term for the special permit, so staff recommends term that coincides with the use. So we'll do with that. Is everybody comfortable with that?
Or change.
Yeah, if there's a change with you put more components on the antenna, technology changes where it's smaller or bigger, so then that'll trigger having to come back for discussion, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're gonna submit the photo. So anyway, I'll make a motion that we approve item number 4 with all original conditions carried forward and applicants to submit a photo of the antenna. Robert Jacobs, with a second. Welcome back. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you, sir.
And I apologize. May I have the email? Someone else in the paper. Is it in the paper?
Oh, I'll get here, okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
No, thank you. Okay.
44 Bacon's Lane, not here yet?
No.
Okay. All right, take care. All right, moving on to item number 6. 79-83 Green Street, it's a site plan / special permit. 3 additional boarding house rooms totaling 17, and a major waiver to exceed the number of boarding house units in borders. Section block lot is 56.90-4-14, secret determination, transect zone T5A, Ward 2, Yukon Management LLC is the applicant. Anybody besides the applicant owner wishing to speak on item number 6? Okay. Welcome. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Sure, Ben Selden.
Welcome. All right, so this is on the corner of Main Street, right? So Dennis, tell us what you're looking to do.
There were, I bought this building the last year. The previous owner truthfully was people having in there that were in non-legal units. I cleaned up, though they were just, it was a ridiculous situation. I rebuilt this. When we were building it, there was a railroad apartment that 2 walls went up between it, essentially making extra units. And that's kind of the long and short of it.
All right. So we had a
Yeah.
we're gonna pull up a picture on the back here. So building safety recently did an inspection and found out that there were more units than what had originally been approved.
Right, we do have an operating permit that was issued by the building department, that we actually just got a copy of it before the meeting tonight, in our office, and it showed was 22 units. So under, the multi-dwelling law, the, building safety division went to the site to do their regular course of action inspection and found that there were 25 units. That's what triggered us looking at this property again. So in speaking with the new owner, he did have a survey done of the property, which we did not have one on record, which was good information. And then we also asked him to provide us with a scaled drawing of the interior space and occupancies in the building. So he did engage an architect who went in and did floor plans of each level from the basement to the 1st and 2nd and 3rd floors. So that we have a well-documented now scaled version of what is existing. So one of the questions, Ben, that we want to know from you is the individual that did the inspection had not done the one prior. So she was not really firm on which units were transformed to establish those 3 new units. So if you could kind of point those out first.
If you go to, this is the basement floor, if you go to the 1st floor. So these, right here on the right, like one, you see how there's like walls right there?
Right.
That's really all that in there.
Okay, so that would be unit,
That would be 1, 2, 3, and 4.
okay, so 4 is the bedroom though, right? That's a bedroom over on the
Yes,
there.
yes.
That was part of it as well?
Well, no, it's really just these walls, like these walls that got, the walls here that were made up, divided and basically made them all into units because they naturally had doors in front of them anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
so units 1, 2, 3, and 4 right now were 1
Yes,
unit to begin with.
correct.
Okay, so, okay. And so now you've got the 1 unit with a kitchen, and then you've got 3 bedrooms with a shared bath, correct? Okay, okay. Which would make them now boarding house or boarding rooms versus actual units because they don't contain a kitchen or a bath.
Uh-huh.
So, that's one transformation. What is the next? Is there another?
No, just the walls. See, they already had doors. And so she was, I guess it was zoned as I don't understand why, but it was zoned as one, so they already had front doors to them, really.
Okay, so there was no change on any of the other floors?
No, nothing.
Just this one?
Nothing else.
Okay, all right, okay.
So was one person renting all, it was,
Conceivably, yes, it was, yeah, yes.
But
She was
then-
the previous owner, I don't really think was,
so then, but someone was still accessing upstairs through that space?
yeah, the hallway, exactly, yes. It was total, it was, yes, exactly, exactly.
So you had one person who was on the lease or whatever, and then that person was renting out different rooms. Is that what's going on?
No, yes, it was a big unit.
Okay.
Looks like it was a
But-
big unit, but I'm guessing at the end of the stairs, there's probably a door.
Yes,
So
of
you
course.
had a common hallway.
And there's a light,
And
there's an
then you
entrance
went
out
through
the
the doorway into
Okay,
what's the
so
back.
there was a doorway in the hallway that's been removed.
I'm guessing.
No, it really wasn't, no, I didn't take anything down at all. I know why you asked that, because it makes, but no, it was really already built with these front doors. I didn't install any front doors.
You didn't do it, but the prior owner must have taken the door out, otherwise she would have had to go out in the hallway from her kitchen to get to her bathroom.
You're saying like, was there a door right there?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I understand why you're saying that.
I mean, I'm just thinking,
Yeah,
if
makes
there
sense,
was a
right.
door there, then you have a full.
But that was, that was definitely not,
Oh,
yeah,
no, okay.
but I can see why you think that.
Based on, I mean, otherwise they'd have to go out to the hallway.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
why,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
that's why it's awkward. Okay.
That's a logical thought.
Okay.
So to get him to where what he wants to do and what this group can do, we need something needs to happen in the meantime, right? What do we?
Well, there, because those rooms that are created are technically boarding house rooms, there's no shared kitchen. So that is something, either the individual rooms have to be outfitted with kitchens, and
There's a place that I already ordered the materials, getting a gas stove. It's already ordered, it'll be in the basement, in the area, in the common space of the basement.
okay, can we go back to the basement?
Sure.
for Kyla?
Right there, where the washer dryer room is, and, if there's also, I can move a washer dryer, I can kind of, eventually, we'll see how it goes, but I could probably add washer dryers back in some, storage area there in the storage workshop area when the time comes along. So
Okay,
it's
so the
progressing.
washer and dryer area, you're saying is gonna become a common kitchen, a shared kitchen?
That or where it says storage workshop,
Okay.
that's, yeah.
Let's talk to the building department about logistically if that works.
Sure.
Building code wise,
Sure.
before anything goes.
It's all electric, just got a fridge
Mhm.
and an electric stove and a microwave and countertop and,
Okay. And that staircase would come down from that first floor, so those rooms would have that access that way, correct?
Yes,
No
correct.
place to go
Everything's-
outside to go inside to get down there.
yes.
Right, so we'll need to see some amended floor plans, then, right?
Yep, no problem.
Right.
Sure.
And as far as the number of boarding house rooms.
There's potentially a waiver. We've talked to Ben about that already. And once we figure out what the final plan is going to be, there's potentially a waiver for exceeding the number of rooms for a boarding house. Boarding houses can only have up to 10 rooms under the code. So there is that possibility if the rooms are not outfitted. And we're talking to Corp Council, Building Department, and we'll bring Ben into that mix as well now to figure out the final plan for that.
So he'll meet with building safety also to establish minimum
Right.
habitable space requirements too. Correct. So this is all something you already know. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, whatever the amended floor plans that we're gonna have, I mean, I don't know what the rest of the place looks like, but
It's the same, it's the same.
the final product, the building safety is gonna look at it just to.
Sure, I'll have them come back.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're gonna table tonight, so,
no problem.
yeah.
So I'll have them come back and inspect it when it's installed.
Well, you can touch base with, go
Yeah,
ahead.
not when it's installed, right? I mean, they need to talk to you about
The layout,
code compliance for the whole building
yeah.
and the changes.
Okay, yeah, I mean, they have been by, well, someone came by, from, this, especially when I did the inspection, I bought the place, they were by like a month ago, so sure. So I mean, they're definitely been in touch with them the whole way.
Okay. You don't know who that was, from the building department?
Yeah, someone from the fire department, Willie, my super, he's kind of the on-site guy.
Okay,
But yes, they've been on site, they've seen everything, when I have the deed for the property with the units, you know.
okay.
I think he's getting confused. and we're getting confused. I think what we're saying is, we can't act on this tonight because you have to have the building department come back, look at your layout, do a site visit, make sure that all of these rooms in the basement and upstairs meet the current code and the current requirements, and then if it does, they give us the blessing, so then we can approve it.
Well, yeah, but I think, can I ask you, when I just bought this building, I got the deed for it, so.
The deed has nothing to do with it, it's the fact that you're modifying it, and we don't know if what you're doing meets building code.
I understand, I'm sorry, it's just my verse, forgive me.
No, no,
So so it's basically saying, are these units on the first floor up to code?
Are they up to code, and where you're putting the kitchen downstairs?
Is up to code.
Is that up to code? If they say yes, then
Okay.
it comes back to us, we know that if we're giving a waiver, yes or no, that what we're doing meets code.
You got it.
We also talked about the fire escapes on this building, which need to be certified, and I believe, I don't know, Charlie is aware of that.
Yes.
Okay,
Actually, I think, John, you do fire station, right? He's the guy you pass it off to. So he's the guy who's gonna be doing it. Okay.
Okay.
So that would be done presumably.
Well,
Before it
maybe,
comes back.
Yes, I'll get everything done and I'll get
see
everything.
next month.
Yes, sir.
And we understand you land into this, what you got here, so you're not the
I'm here to
first,
make it right.
you're not the first person to have to come back and,
and you've gotten a copy of the staff notes already?
Yes, the application that I need to do.
I don't have one with me.
No, you emailed me the application that I need to fill out for the next meeting or something.
The waiver
Yes,
application? Yeah, you can download it on
Yeah, I have
the
it.
website, or if you want, I can send you the link.
Sounds good.
all right.
Which do
Thank
you?
you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben, we'll see you hopefully next month, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Take care. Oh, yeah, this time we're gonna make a motion that we table item number 6.
Thank you.
A second, Charles Palaco, a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed? Carried. All right, moving on to item number 7, 336 East Chester Street. Stay for this one here. Special permit renewal for general commercial auto-oriented services and controlled substance sales. Section block lot is 48.83-2-1.100, secret determination, transect zone P3N-O, Ward 7, MNZ Realty Holdings Incorporated is the applicant. Anybody besides this gentleman here wishing to speak on item number 7? Okay, hello again.
Hi there, my name is Abdul Razak.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Abdul Razak.
Okay. So this is on the corner of Lincoln Street, right? That's what we're talking about?
The bottle return business ever get,
I didn't start yet because the tenant, we have to have with the tenant to take it out. This is the process for the court. It'll be
okay.
done next month, then we start.
Oh, so you do plan to, you are moving forward with it
Yeah,
though?
but-
Okay,
Just
all
can
right.
get the key from the tenant. The previous tenant said he don't want to move, so I have to take him to the court. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
same process.
All right,
You just don't want to move.
Does a controlled substance have to be with alcohol? Is that what it is?
Mhm.
Okay. What about the condition of the site?
Yeah, the site in general needs a little bit of attention. It's kind of, fences are broken and falling down, disrepair, there's overgrowth. What is your plan to kind of
Okay, so
fix it up and repair
since we
it?
bought that building, we have all this tenant there. So right now, we was planning to take all the tenant out. We're gonna operate by ourselves, owner operate. So it's gonna be done within a couple of months. So diner has to go tenant and the repair shop and the gas station. So we're gonna have on everything. So no more tenants. Since we bought the property, it's tenant. We keep telling them this, that, they're not doing it.
Okay.
So that's the reason the property is like that. So we have to, because we took the tenant over from
I
the,
mean, is it something that you put in place and then the tenants are destroying it? Is that?
yeah, I fix the things, then they don't take care, So I did a couple of things, but they, whether all the stuff destroy, they don't do it. It's in the lease, everything, and they just don't want. So.
So you're in court right now with the tenant?
Yeah.
And you expect the next couple months, it'll be totally vacant, so you can go in, renovate, and do all this work?
Exactly. We're gonna be running like that as it is, but the next step is gonna be redoing all the renovation as they want. Not the tenant.
And it's gonna be your renovation for your business?
Yes, we're gonna be operating all three business, no tenants. Since
So-
we bought the property, it was tenants all the time, till now. So it's hard to take them out. It's still been like 2 years almost, So finally, we are in court for each tenant. So it's gonna be done in a couple of months. So there is no tenants. So we're gonna be doing everything by ourselves on and off,
I mean, what's on the table?
all the three business.
Based on the report.
That's not, yeah.
Well, it's not exposed then.
Look, the
It's not
narrative,
gonna-
project narrative says that the business is still operating.
They are.
So they're
The
still
thing is-
operating. Is the diner still
No.
actually, so the diner is not in
since
business?
closed, 3 months. The
Okay.
shop is closed also 3 months. They're not doing anything. Only the gas station is open.
So the garage is not, they're not operating, okay, so even though the narrative states it, they're out of operation. So we want to update your narrative to actually what's happening on the site, all right? So, and you said only the gas station and
The
the
C-store.
store, I guess, are functioning?
Yeah.
And then you have 6 AM to 12 midnight, is
No,
that
6 to
accurate?
6 to 11.
6 to 11? Okay.
So as Sue mentioned, for the table tonight to give the applicant an opportunity to take care of what needs to be done and also do it after his court proceedings go through. So
Okay, the fire inspector is also going to be reaching out to you to do a fire inspection there. It's overdue for one, so you are on the list. And I think he's scheduled for either the end of this month or the beginning of next. So they'll be in touch, all right? So we want to get that done as well.
Sure.
All right,
So Robert had an idea of maybe doing, three months to,
Is three?
that's fine.
I just don't like tabling things a long time versus grouping and coming.
No, it should be done before 3 months.
that'll get you through your court proceedings, if, whatever you have to.
Yeah. Documents, so.
Okay, and then what you're gonna have to do is update, then when you come back, we'll give you 3 months, we'll table it, and then we'll be in touch with you to coordinate you coming back. But I want you to update your narrative and then put your plan together for actually what you're gonna do with the site. And also, at that point, you can speak to the repairs that are needed around the site itself and maybe whatever renovations you're gonna be doing in the building, okay?
Yes.
And then you'll highlight what the original approval entailed, what's expected of it. So,
Yeah, we already talked about the bar and table. So that's what we're gonna do it once I get the key from the guy and the diner. It's gonna be renovated whole thing,
So you'll be back in 3 months and you'll tell us everything that you're going to do.
exactly.
And even if the tenant's not out in 3 months, you'll still come back and tell us what you're going to do, so we can at least work on that for you.
Yeah, that's, but they're gonna be also.
Everybody's good with 3 months here? Yeah. That's good. All right, so thank you for coming tonight. We're going to table, at this time, I'll make a motion that we table item number 7. Do I have a second? Second by Robert Jacobson.
You want to specify for 3 months? please?
Oh, sorry, yes, for 3 months. Thank you. Yeah, so that is a motion. And a second. All in favor?
So what is the renovation, you guys looking like fencing all the stuff, you have any?
Yeah, we'll send you a letter, you'll get an email from our office with the decision, and it'll outline this, and it'll give you the time frame. And then as we get closer, you'll get a reminder as well, all right?
But yes, we're looking at cleanup, what you're doing to the buildings, what your business is gonna be like, what your new hours are going to be. Are you changing any lighting, fencing, landscaping, the whole 9 yards?
No.
All opposed?
That's
All
nice.
right, carry. Thank you.
Hi.
Is anybody here from 44 Maiden Lane?
Yeah.
We're going into old business now. Item number 8 is 256 Washington Avenue. It's a site plan / special permit for renovation of an existing building to include 47 apartments and a boarding house with major waiver to exceed the number of units in a multiplex. Section block and lot is 56.90-4-36. Secret determination, transect zone T4 and Ward 3, 256 Washington House, LLC is the applicant owner.
How you doing?
Gentlemen, can you state your names for the record again, please?
Sure, Stephen Rangelman, John Steinmeier, Darrell Handler.
John, I'm sorry to hear about the passing of your dad.
Thank you, appreciate
I
that.
remember from high school, always had a kind word to say to me down in the basement of the main building, so I'm so sorry.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, so where are we now? So looks like we're in the final stages, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of reviewing it.
Good.
Staff has had an opportunity to review the staff notes. I don't know if you have any additional questions or any thoughts that you want to start off with.
Can I just mention one thing? Can I start with anything about the kitchens, the kitchen appliance sizes? We talked about that. Michael Berg was here to discuss the size of the safe refrigerator stove unit. And I think he did a good job in my eyes of illustrating what these folks are going to be used, how they're going to be used, whatever. And I felt it was an appropriately sized for the size of the units. But is there, some of the units are going to have a larger, is that?
Yeah, there's
so I
five,
think it's-
the last set of plans that we submitted there's 5 units that are some larger units that we did increase the size of those kitchens
Okay.
to basically 5 foot in length versus the 3 foot in length of the others.
So what does that add more refrigerator, just
think that
everything
they-
space in general?
Two more burners,
Okay,
larger cabinet space, slightly larger refrigerator.
thank you.
Yeah,
All right, so, yeah, go ahead. There's something else, I just wanted to get that before I forgot about it.
For sure.
No, I don't know if you want to go, Sue, you want to go through comments or how do you want to address it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go through the staff notes. They've been working, quite honestly, very hard to answer a lot of our questions. There is a waiver. We can start with that. In your packets, there is a letter that discusses the reasoning for the waiver. It's essentially the number of units, very similar to what you saw down the street from this project at 80 Washington. In this one, they've provided for justification. I don't know if you have any questions with regards to their reasoning. We feel it's appropriate. We don't see an issue with the granting of the major waiver. It's basically what they could have done theoretically is divide the building up back into two individual structures and had a total of 36 units, 12 apiece. The request is for 47. They also looked at the prior use of the building, and the occupancy load is not that much different than the prior occupancy. There are a few additional rooms, yes, which we'll also speak to in a little bit on another matter. So I don't know if you have any additional questions.
I mean, we've had discussions about this at previous meetings, right? And we had the site visit as well. And looking through their letter for the reason for the waiver request, it makes sense to me, so I'm in support of it.
Another point that they did bring up, and we've outlined this in the draft resolution, which we'll hand you in a little bit, but the code does allow for flexibility of this board in considering waivers when you're talking about adaptive reuse. So if you feel that it's an appropriate adaptive reuse, you do have some flexibility. We noted that there's no changes in the exterior of the building. They're not adding anything to create, additional space. They're using, reusing the buildings as they were. So the footprint stays the same. And we feel that, it's a consistent use in the T4 neighborhood, so. Okay. Also, since the last meeting, the Ulster County Planning Board reviewed the project. Their comment was returned. It was a very simple comment with respect to the site lighting. And so they've provided a lighting plan, which basically follows the recommendation of the county as well. So that is also contained in your resolution to concur with the county's findings, because they have complied.
That makes it easy.
Let's see, we talked about the affordable housing. Let's talk about that. That's a big one, right? So originally, the applicants came to us with a project that was going to be 100% affordable housing. While it may still very well be that, they are asking the board, they're going to incorporate, for the record, the required affordable housing for the number of units under the new code, which would be, the numbers work out 10% affordable housing and 5% workforce. So by my calculations, with 47 units that they're proposing, that came out to 5 affordable and 2 workforce. So a total of 7 units would be income restricted as a requirement. Those would then be entered into an agreement with the city of Kingston, which becomes a deed covenant on the property. The balance of the units, obviously, they're still working. They're still working with Family of Woodstock. So in all likelihood, they will be as well income based, but it would be a restriction as a deed restriction or a covenant on the property. So that is a fairly significant change in the project since last time.
Laundry facilities?
Yeah, so we're envisioning the basement. We have a lot of space there, and we'll have a shared laundry facility in the basement for the tenants.
And there's still going to be a common kitchen area on them? Is that going to?
There's no more boarding rooms in the house.
Okay, so we talked about that in the.
Yeah, so it's gonna be, everyone's got their own private.
Yeah, everyone's got their own private kitchen, and so now we have common space.
There is shared kitchen though in the separate building.
Correct.
That is treated as a board, that will be treated as
Back
a boarding house,
Back
yes. So
Correct.
there is a shared kitchen back there, so you're clear. Okay.
Let's talk about the open space again, just to refresh my mind. What's the plan there for that?
So the rear yard, there's basically a grass area in the rear yard, and we're making some improvements to that, but basically, the rear yard, it meets that and some of the area adjacent to the existing rear deck basically meets the requirements for open space. There's a dilapidated wood deck back there that will be replaced as part of that. But we're making some improvements as far as sidewalks and benches, outdoor furniture as well.
And I know it's not part of the property that we're talking about, but I know this gazebo that some folks go to, what's the status with all that? Is that still gonna be in?
Well, it's not included in the open space.
No, I'm just thought,
Right.
it just,
That's something that we'll have to get dealt with along the,
because you
open
have
up
a neighbor who's okay with that right now, so.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a good relationship thus far, and people have been using it, and we're hoping that it continues.
Okay.
One new document that is in your packets is the rules, and they did submit the operations plan, which was in your packets last month. But there's also a tenant rules. It's a basic form that I believe you probably use it in other locations.
Correct.
So, one thing we noticed in there is that there's no smoking within 30 feet of your property.
Yeah.
So that's gonna put people that want to smoke on the other side of the street and into the neighborhood and not, in your outdoor areas, which might be more appropriate places.
Yeah, and we're happy to amend that particularly, for this property. I think, when we met with the fire department and with Michael, we just know how important it's gonna be to monitor smoking inside the unit. So we wanted a fairly restricted policy, at least on the books, but certainly, we're sensitive to.
Right, I
people
mean,
across
that's
the
true,
street. Yeah.
I'm just saying that's gonna cause that, I guess.
Completely
see that
understand.
causing.
So we're happy to amend that just to make clear it's not in the units, outside space.
Okay. I also saw pets, which was kind of surprising too, but that wasn't unusual, I mean, that's up to you, but.
Yeah, again, we do use this in other buildings and we're
Right.
happy to, make modifications, with respect to pets.
I'm still happy that you have people in the immediate area to handle any issues that come up after hours or, that's big. So, as things change and people move on to other jobs, whatever, that's going to be important to keep a close eye on that and get somebody responsible to.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see that you've started to do some cleanup around the building. I noticed, it's been passing that some of the scrub's been kind of cleared away and cut and all of that. So it was good to see that the cleanup,
Yeah,
site makes a difference.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we've trying to just beautify it a little bit and do what we can for now. So.
Right. And there's a landscaping plan that they have provided, so there will be some new plantings that go in. Particularly where the doors, there's 2 doors on Washington that are being removed from the structure. And the walkway to the one is being removed, so landscaping going in those areas as well.
Let the record show that Michael Berg is here as well, too. Hi, Michael.
Good evening, sorry to be late.
That's okay, you're here. And the sign has been removed, right?
Yeah.
Anything else jumping in? I know we're gonna go line by line, but a lot of stuff has been.
So good, right?
Oh, yeah, directly. I understand you went to, you had a second meeting with them, did you?
Just the initial, I was up, I believe it was the second, and we went up and spoke with them as well.
All right, so, I know you were looking for some reconsideration for them on the total rec fee. Do you want to go over what your?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
And it kind of makes sense to me too. I already know, but just.
Okay, good.
So-
Yeah. So I guess, you know, we wanted them to to familiarize them with our project and, you know, you may already know this, but, we have a master lease, the family of Woodstock, and they serve a lot of residents in the local community who, you know, unfortunately at this time don't have housing. And, you know, again, these are local residents in the Kingston community. The site was previously Chiz's house and a boarding home. And what, you know, we had talked to them about is the code essentially, I believe the wording says something to the effect of, to the extent your project contributes to population growth, you know, there should be a fee applied to it. And we were just explaining to them that our project isn't necessarily, you know, people coming into Kingston and growing the population and putting more strain on the public resources like the parks. It's actually, we think hopefully going to take people away who are currently living in public areas and parks and housing them permanently. So we didn't necessarily think based on the code that, you know, our project was adding burden, and we're actually hopeful that it would reduce the burden to parks and other spaces. And that was one of our arguments. I think they were, you know, seemed receptive to that. And then we also wanted just to clarify the project and you know, I think they had thought these were brand new units and
creating 47 units, which, you know, they were all, you know, these units mostly by and large were already there.
Yeah.
Had been there for many, many years. So we don't believe that we are actually creating units. We're just refurbishing units that are, you know, dilapidated or unusable at the current moment.
So I don't know, you didn't stay for their final determination, but they didn't change, they really didn't change their
Okay.
position. What they said was, you know, we're gonna continue that, our position will stay the same, but the planning board can, if they feel that, you know, the circumstances warrant, can change, you know, and they're the final say. So this is a recommendation. So it didn't change. So we've had some internal discussion. There are some facts. I mean, the building had a operating permit for 30, or was licensed for 39 units. So with 47 units, the increase in the number of units would be 8. So one option is to assess the fee for the additional 8 units. Yeah, the rec department did recommend assessing the full amount for all 47. So that's one option.
That's the one that made sense to me when I heard it.
What have we done in the past with fire? I mean, we basically assessed these and we've had other people that have done refurbishment of existing buildings. Have had to pay the park and rec fee?
We've done it both ways, I'll be honest with you. You know, like when there was apartment complex over on Miller, where they increased by 1 unit, we only assessed the 1 unit. Dutch Village was the same way. We assessed the fee based on the additional number of units that were created when they converted some space there. Right, so, but we've done it both ways.
And this was existing how many units?
39.
39 in the building, right? We're not talking about the boarding houses, the boarding
Correct, but
house
there
in the
existing
back.
was 39 prior to fire.
So it'd be
Right,
additional
there were
8
39
units
approved rooms.
for 24,000 would be the new. I mean, that's what made sense to me.
So just also, because I spoke to Bartek about some of this as well, and he had said in the code, there's language regarding the per unit fee. If you comply with the affordable requirements, I believe it's a reduced fee, it's not the full amount. That's what he was saying to me as well, so.
That's a separate issue. That's your application fee, your review fee.
Well, he had said I know we paid the application fee, but he had said that actually we maybe shouldn't have and could be waived, but I think they're related to the Parks and Rec fee. I think there was language related to a discount of that if you're.
Right, so, but you're also reducing the technical, I mean, because there would be nothing to stop you from making charging more for those other units. So if you're also reducing your actual affordable number of units that by law, you've reduced that.
Yeah, I mean, the affordable and.
It's kind of,
Yeah, I guess, and in part to explain the affordable comment, we had been asked if our project was affordable, and we're leasing to Family of Woodstock. It's 1089 a month. What's considered affordable for a studio in Kingston is 1,600 and something. So we'd answered the question saying we're affordable, just thinking that, you know, we're well below the requirements, and I think it was just a misunderstanding in kind of terminology. So we had answered thinking, well, yes, we're well below affordability, not realizing that that was sort of a kind of technical term. So yeah, and then I called Sue just to clarify that, you know, that would be.
right, which is, I don't, you know, I think what you're doing is the correct way to approach it, your project. Like I said, recognize, you know, that you're gonna be working with family. And yes, are those units probably gonna be rented or out for as affordable? In all likelihood, absolutely. You know, as long as the relationship with family is there.
Sure. The units are gonna be rented at fair market rent or less. That is by definition of HUD affordable. HUD is actually establishing it and has just significantly raised it, given the fact that.
Well, affordable is defined in the code as.
Yeah, we're not talking about HUD definitions. This is something separate that the city of Kingston spends.
Okay, okay, to be honest with you,
Bar text.
fair market rent would not buy you virtually anything in the city of Kingston right now. So I don't understand how you could be questioning that it's affordable because it's lower than.
Yeah,
than
I
what's
understand you're
available.
talking about like the generic term affordable, but there's a definition within the statute that talks about what is affordable as a definition. It's separate from the generic term or what we're saying, because I know rent's very expensive.
I think we understand.
Yeah.
But so I guess to kind of backtrack this, I'm sorry, to what you
Well,
were.
I think I mean, the way Sue just illustrated it in my comments about it, and how you explained it, I'm inclined to, go ahead with assessing, 8 units, the additional 8 units for the rec fee and not hit them for the whole 40, well, it'd be 43, wouldn't it, with the first floor represent? It would be 43. So, so instead of 43 units that they're gonna be responsible for paying a rec fee on, it would only be 8. So that would amount to $24,000, which is a significant reduction. So, I mean, how do you feel about that?
I think that's fair. I mean, obviously they went to the Parks and Rec and got nowhere, so I think, you know, the additional 8 units is fair on the part of the planning board. We've done this in the past and we're, you know, past projects,
I mean, it's not a new bill.
it's not a new build and it's existing units. We're just adding 8 new units. I mean, you know.
So you feel comfortable with that then? Matt,
Yes.
Andrew? Vince? Sage?
Yes.
Kyra?
Yeah.
Chuck? Okay.
Hi.
Great.
We obviously appreciate being assessed on the 8. I guess, you know, my understanding, and it could be incorrect, is at least Bartek has told us that if you comply with affordable requirements, meaning just the, you know, the 10% and the 5%, if your project fits in that barrier, then instead of the full fee, the 3,000, he had said there was language that I think had reduced it.
We don't actually charge the fee. We're just charging the 8 units and then you can take that up with the city
Okay.
as to what the actual dollar amount is going to be, how they bill it. I think
Okay.
that's
Thank you.
exactly
Thank you
what
for that.
So if you want, I can show you the statute out there, what you're referring to.
Okay.
About the different percentages and also gives you a better definition of what affordable is.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So Sue, can we put that in our, part of our decision, and we're gonna assess for 8 units and let the figure out the semantics and, or, the building.
No, it's you, that's your decision.
Okay.
I mean, it's the responsibility of the planning board to assess the rec
So we'll
fee.
assess
So
for
you're
eight.
assessing
Okay.
24,000 based on the increase from 39 to 47, so
Okay.
the 8 additional units are the basis of that fee.
But I guess my question is, he's saying there's a provision in the code that fee could be reduced. Is that correct or no?
It makes a statement, I'm trying to find it here. There's a
It's
statement.
subsection, it's under 40519C,
It's
has the
in-
affordable housing incentives, and they talk about the percentage of the application fee as well as some additional other incentives going along, but it doesn't directly relate to any decision that you guys make here tonight when you're assessing what the rent is.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and assess for the 8, okay? And however you guys figure out what the next.
Understood.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, understood.
Okay. Anything else from you?
We will need a detailed cost estimate to determine if a bond is going to be needed, so, and that's for site improvements only, John.
Okay.
So if it's not mandatory, then we will not require it, but if it is mandatory, we'll work out that with and I put a section in the resolution.
Okay.
that talks to that, speaks to that.
Perfect.
We also, in the resolution, and I'll give you a copy when we're ready to go through it, but obviously we're going to need some final set of drawings that show certain elements like the mail receptacles and the design for that, all your final utility connections, both above and below ground. There'll be signatures required on those documents. Elevations, we want to still see how the front of the buildings are going to be treated where the doors are being removed.
Yeah,
Replacing that with
that was
the-
included in the architectural plan, just,
Okay, I'll double check that again. I didn't see that.
I think it was the last sheet.
We had talked about restoration of the rear porch area and rebuilding that ramp.
Correct.
Is that still in the
Yes.
plan? Okay.
Yes.
Same configuration. I thought it was going to end up being a switchback.
It's gonna be, I haven't determined exactly how long it's gonna be,
Okay.
but I will work up
Okay,
those
all right.
elevations for you.
Okay. Also, there'll need to be a note on the plan about charging for electric bikes. The fire department does not want, particularly in multi-family residential structures, to have interior charging of electric bikes for obvious
Yep.
safety reasons, so that will not be allowed.
Where is the meeting with refuge?
Refuse is in, yeah, there's a section, there's an area in the back where there's a dumpster, and they're actually going to be upgrading the surround on that as part of the site plan of the show. Yep. Let's see, just HVAC units, they're direct connect, correct? Into, or they're not gonna have line sets outside, they're gonna direct connect into
Yeah,
the building?
they'll go directly
Yeah,
inside.
okay, so just a note that that's how they're gonna work with the line sets. I also just wrote in laundry facilities will be established in the basement. And fire escapes will be finally inspected and certified to meet the code. And then there's a bunch of other language in here, so. If you want to, I can pass out draft resolution. Just give you one. No, that's what I was just talking about, that John Wilson, it's in the resolution.
Yep.
Did you guys get one?
we did not know, thank you so much.
And when we come to the sections where you've made some changes, you're gonna add them on, manually, or are they gonna be in the record copy?
Oh, you want my copy?
Should I?
Yeah.
All right, I have before me a
Oh,
resolution.
we do need to do food first. Sorry.
All right. It's rare that I get one of these forms passed. All right. All right, under seeker, this is unlisted action. So we have to make a determination of environmental significance. I have before me the short environmental assessment form. Keep that page there. Staff has indicated this is in order. At this time, which is the page? It might be. Did you find it? Is this the page?
No. Fine.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
All right. I'm gonna take, it's really thick. It's really thick. All right, I look like that.
That was the page
I'm
beside.
not gonna lose the page. Okay. All right, so it is in order. At this time, I'll make a motion that we adopt it. Do I have a second? Second by Chuck Palaco. All in favor, Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco.
Yes.
Robert Jacobson.
Yes.
Matt Gillis.
Yes.
Vince Archer.
Yes.
It is approved. There's good notes. I put it back in there.
Actually, that's their receipt, if you mind.
That's your.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
All right, so I do have a, this is lengthy, isn't it? I didn't read more. Resolution of the City of Kingston Planning Board issuing conditional approval of site plan, special permit, and authorizing a major waiver for 256 Washington Avenue, Kingston, New York, 12401, section block and lot 56.107-4-12. Whereas 256 Washington LLC is the applicant, submitted a major site plan application with renovation / adaptive reuse of existing building to create 47 apartments. And whereas the property also includes an accessory structure containing 10 boarding house rooms, which require a special permit for operation. And whereas the main building, classified as a multiplex building type, is located in the T4N transect zone with an allowed intensity of 12 units maximum per building. And whereas the application includes submission of a request and supporting documentation for a major waiver from section 405-12, parens J, parens 3, multiplex allowed intensity for 47 residential units. And whereas the project has been referred to the Ulster County Planning Board and also to the City Parks and Recreation Commission for required recommendations on actions associated with each agency. And whereas the applicant will comply with the affordability requirements to include a minimum of 10% affordable housing and 5% workforce housing. And whereas the application is considered an unlisted action under seeker, a short environmental assessment form was submitted and reviewed by the board and found to have no significant negative environmental impact. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City of Kingston Planning Board as follows. Section 1, the Planning Board has considered all the documents submitted to support a major waiver from section 405-12, parens J, parens 3, quote, multiplex allowed intensity, unquote, which limits the number of units to 12, and grants a major waiver under the form-based code for 47 residential units based on the following findings. A, the board recognizes the communication from Home Property Group dated October 10th, 2023. B, the project site has historically operated as a nursing home, followed by a 40-room assisted living facility and boarding house with former special permits noting up to 45 residents. C, that the units be maintained as single occupancy, limiting the overall number of residents to a maximum of 47 in the main building and 10 in the annex, unless a lesser number is determined in the code review by the building department. D, the code provides for flexibility in consideration of the adaptive reuse of existing buildings that do not conform with the general character of the neighborhood, E, there are no changes to the building size or location, and no new additions or exterior alterations are proposed, with the exception of removal of 2 entry doors and reconstructing a handicap ramp to meet code. F, the existing proposal is not altering the overall site footprint of impervious structures. G, the project is consistent with the planning, design, and compatibility of the surrounding T4N transect. Section 2, the planning board concurs with and accepts the Ulster County Planning Board advisory recommendation regarding LED full cutoff lighting fixtures, noting all lighting on the site will comply with said recommendation. Section 3, the applicant shall incorporate throughout the project affordable/workforce housing in accordance with section 40519 of the FBC as follows. A. Will we write that in there?
Change that.
A minimum total of 7 units will be established as income restricted. Letter what is this? 1I. 10% affordable housing units with households earning no more than 80% of area median income, as determined by U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, specifically 5 units. II, 5% workforce housing units with households earning no more than 120% of area median income, as determined by U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, specifically 2 units. Letter B, the establishment of the affordable/workforce housing will be subject to a contract and restrictive covenants being executed and entered into as determined by the Corporation Council to meet the guidelines of the city. Section 4, the planning board deems the application to be complete and after full consideration of the material submitted for the project, hereby approves the major site plan for 47 single occupancy residential units and the special permit for 10 single occupancy boarding house rooms, in parentheses further described in section 5 below, and associated site improvements at 256 Washington Avenue with the following conditions. A, the project shall comply fully with all applicable New York State and local codes, including, but not limited to, New York State building codes, property maintenance codes, energy codes, and the City of Kingston Administrative Code. Planning board approval does not constitute approval of building permits or compliance with building code requirements. B, the project shall include ADA compliance for accessibility in accordance with the requirements of the building code of the state of New York. C, that the board accepts the usable open space plan as provided and defined by the applicant to include seating and site improvements in accordance with section 405.24, which is a usable open space standards. D, address and room numbering developed and approved by the engineering department, Kingston Fire Department, 911 Emergency Services, and the U.S. Postal Service. E, fire escapes will be inspected and certified with documentation submitted to the Building Safety Division. F, utilization of a private hauler for refuse and recycling. G, provide documentation that all encroachments have been eliminated or have been addressed through appropriate easement documentation as suitable to the city council. H, board policies that are incorporated are 3A, and 3B. This is a submission as-built plans and performance bond requirements. Number 4 and 4A, which are lighting levels and adjustments as needed. Number 6 is signature on plans. Number 7 and 7A, active project review and conditions. Number 8 and 8A, clerk of the works and project directory. Number 12 is emptying of dumpsters between regular business hours. Number 13, changes to contact information. Number 14, dig safely block on plans. Number 15 and 15A, analysis of zoning. Number 17A, landlord registration and compliance with affordable housing requirements. And number 18 and 18A, payment in lieu of parkland and signature of submission. Number 19 is compliance with the noise ordinance. Number 22 is carbon monoxide detectors. Number 23, protection of bluestone sidewalks. Number 24, sidewalk standards. Number 25, Knox box, and number 26, building permit requirements. Section 5, the board includes in this decision the issuance of a special permit for the 10 boarding house rooms in the annex building, with the condition that the rooms remain single occupancy with a maximum of 10 boarders, that the operations plan submitted under letter by Family of Woodstock be signed and dated by the owners and complied with throughout the life of the use as a boarding house facility. The owner will comply with regular inspections by the building department in compliance with all relevant New York State and local codes, and that the special use permit will be renewed annually with any changes returning to the board for review and amendment per section 405.26E2. Section 6, that the owner shall comply with all applicable special permit standards of section 405-21E unless otherwise noted herein. Section 7, the owner shall provide a final set of plans to staff that identify the following. A, location and design for the mail/parcel cluster unit as acceptable to the United States Postal Service. B, locations for all utility connections both above and below ground. C, include executed signature boxes of owners. D, elevations of the front facade to show how the closed openings will be treated to match the existing structure. E, details of the rear porch restoration and the ADA ramping for rear access. F, note on plan indicating, quote, no interior charging of any electric bicycles without authorization granted by Kingston Fire Department, unquote. G, updated floor plans to distinguish units with compact kitchen and a larger kitchen install unit. H, note adding regarding HVAC units to be direct connect into building or any lines set to be treated to match exterior building color and no lines to be run across any street facing facade. I, laundry facilities established in basement area. What is?
This can be crossed off.
Okay,
It's already in on the above.
okay,
Sorry.
okay. J will be eliminated. Section 8, the applicant shall provide a cost estimate for determination as to whether a performance bond will be required. If required, the bond will be submitted to the city of Kingston in the amount as set by the city engineer with a 10% contingency added. Said bond shall be in a form as approved by the planning staff and corporation council and will be received prior to the issuance of a building permit. Any portion of the bond requested for release will be subject to the determination of satisfactory completion by city engineer and planning staff. Final release will not occur without city sign off of engineer and planning staff and submission as certified as-built drawings. Section 9, the planning board hereby assesses a payment in lieu of parkland fee on the project in the amount of $24,000 US. Said payment will be remitted prior to the issuance of a building permit. This fee is based on the following findings. Including, go ahead.
Increase.
Increase, I'm sorry. Increase in number of units from prior authorized 39 to 47, which is 8 units assessed at $3,000 per unit. Section 10, approval of the board does not eliminate the need to obtain an operating permit, comply and file under Chapter 277 of the City Code, and secure any other appropriate permits and approvals from other boards, commissions, departments, and relevant agencies. Section 11, that this conditional site plan and special permit approval shall be valid for a period of 1 year from this date, but purpose of obtaining a building permit. And the applicant may apply to request an extension of one additional year as prescribed under the process in section 405-26E1 in parentheses E. Section 12 of this resolution shall take effect immediately.
In section 1B, we need to also mention the reservation of the deck. It was mentioned at the hospital. I did not see the
In 1B,
1E, section E, page 2. No exterior change of the building size, dimensions to the handicap ramp, the entry door, there's also the restoration of the rear porch.
Okay.
The rear porch was mentioned again later.
Yeah.
That's one.
Okay.
Should be included.
We look to entry doors. Okay, okay, so I'll leave restoration. Okay, okay. Anything else?
give it a word. You need to say something now about it, or?
I just want to ask you a question. I certainly don't want to jeopardize the movement of this. But in our planning, based upon need, there are a few studio apartments that are big enough for a mom and a child. There is virtually no available apartments for that, and there's a great need. By your language, it seems like you would preclude anything but a single. Is there any flexibility to, let's say, take 5 units that might be serving a mom and a child?
Identify units. I guess I'll ask you.
We can identify units. I
Which
mean,
units might be,
the building code, there's a minimum square footage, and there's units that do meet that for more than one occupant. So we can identify that on the plan.
so if we said, like, you would identify maybe 5 of the 47 units that.
Yeah, I'm sure that I can get
possibly
5
The board would accept that, we'll identify
It's
these.
building.
Okay, so we'll identify 5 of those.
Yeah.
We'll work with you.
So I know I'm going
All
to
right,
belabor the thing, but what happens when the child gets older and they're still there? What happens then?
I don't think it will be. But right now, I mean, if you want to set some parameters that a child can't be more than 4 or 5 years old, that would be okay too.
No, I mean, this is.
that's.
Yeah. So the building code doesn't specify age.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's either a double occupancy or it's not a double occupancy.
The
So,
building code governs this, right?
Excuse me?
Based on square footage, building code
well,
governs
building
it.
code in your
Correct.
regulations, so if you say 5, we identify 5, that would be
Possible.
I mean,
Possible.
I think the reason we went with single occupancy was because of the overall number of people that they were asking for a waiver from what was allowed in the zoning code, you know, the difference in the number of units and the past number of people that were there versus the number of people that will be there. Didn't necessarily speak to age, it was overall, you know, how many people are living on the property.
I mean, Robert says, he thinks we should stick with what we have in the language that we have there now. And I understand what you're saying, Michael. I just don't want to get some ambiguity and, you know, later on. I'm inclined to agree with Robert on this. Stick with what we have in the language. What's the rest of the board feel?
I concur.
Stay with what we have in the resolution. It's tough.
I mean, you know, if units weren't, you know, if you were to offset the if you were to think about it as an overall number of people and offset the number of units by allowing double occupancy, I mean, that's something. That was, I'm just.
What is
telling
the
you
data
what-
on the
what
need?
I'm-
Sorry.
What is the data on the need? Like, what is the, I mean, is there any kind of like information from the population that would say that, you know, a certain percentage of these people in need are single women with small children?
Well, there's not terrific knowledge, but let me share two things with you. One that really shocked me. And this is from the official record keeping of the homeless services in the county. In the period from April through the end of September of this year, the number of homeless people increased by 571 from the previous 6 months. That's documentable. It's a tremendous increase. Now, as far as single, I've seen numbers between 37 and 53% of the relationships in the city of Kingston are single-headed households. I don't know between mom and dad, certainly moms are more, but there is a huge number of need. There's no question.
And if we change the language, it's gonna have to say, it won't say mother and infant, it'll have to say double occupancy.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we start getting into some place that we might not wanna go. you know? I understand what you're saying, you know, and, but I agree with you, I'm in favor of staying with the language that we have. And I know it's tough, but how do you feel, Kyra?
Oh, my good.
Well,
I mean, I think that that's why I asked the question that I asked, is like, okay, so there's obviously a need, and that's why we have projects like this
Absolutely.
going on, and that's why we have relationships like this being built, but like, what percentage of this particular population is in a situation where they have a single parent with a child? And it's like, you know, to not include that in this project seems unfair, but,
I know,
and
but-
uncomfortable, but I also understand that it's very difficult to make language apply and applicable to the, you know, the circumstance of, you have a double occupancy, you technically do. It's unfortunate that there can't be, you know.
And the
a way
applicants
to both.
are fulfilling a need right now with
Yeah.
what's going on in the county, you know, and
Yeah.
the city. I
Big
think
time.
we have to draw a line somewhere,
Yeah.
you know. Sage, so do you agree with keeping the language the same, Tyra? That's what I think that. Let me ask you.
I can't answer that because I don't know that, I don't have all the information. I think that if you're talking about a population of people that are homeless, and you're talking about people that are in a situation where they have a small child, I don't know if that's a common thing or if it's an uncommon thing because we don't have the data. So it's like all the people that are gonna be applying for housing like this, if they have a small child and they have a need, they're automatically not, you know, able to apply.
Is there some kind of vetting you do for your double occupancies? Like they have to be married, they have to be a parent and a child, they have to be, is it not in your vetting that they can't be just like two people that are, I don't know, been dating for 6 months and they want to live together? Is there some sort of something through family that when you place them, that they have to be
The way that
intertwined?
the system works is required by HUD that anybody that is going to apply for affordable or supported housing apartment must be ranked under a system called coordinated entry. So either the Department of Social Services or some of the helping agencies, there's criteria. And based upon the need, the people that have the greatest need for the apartment go to the top. There are records kept, I mean, without revealing people, in theory, there are ways to establish how many would be single-head household. But I'm not thinking in any way of putting two adults or even a parent and a fairly, you know, a teenager or a 9-year-old. That's not what this is all about. What it's about, though, is that there is very little affordable housing, and a mom with a child is gonna be really hard pressed to be able to afford any of the rentals that are available.
Is there something that we can put in that we could only do like 5 affordable units as long as family is in charge of it?
And I'm not putting either of you on the spot, but I personally, I know there were multiple site visits, so I don't know who went, who did. But I did a site visit with Wayne and Sue and Kyla. I've gone through the building from top to bottom, and these are not large units.
Right, no, I understand that.
And based on the site getting a major waiver and increasing the number of units, I'm not comfortable then increasing the number of people on top. To be honest, that's where I'm coming from.
And just to answer your question, you would be approving the site plan
As a whole.
as a whole, not, it could change ownership, it could change management. Just
Then I'm
site
fine
plan.
leaving it the same if we can. If we have to approve it as a whole, then I'm fine leaving it as is.
Same.
Okay. Dennis? Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, if there were a way for us to kind of leave it up to the discretion of family, and then if family's not involved anymore, kind of claw that back, but if we can, then.
No.
Yeah, so, yeah.
We'll have to build more housing.
That'll be your next project. Pat? Okay. All right. Okay,
So you made that motion.
I did make that a motion, but where's the copy? You're gonna have all that, right? Do I have a second on that? Second by Vince Archer. Wayne Platt has a yes. Charles Palaco?
Yes.
Robert Jacobson?
Yes.
Matt Gillis?
Yes.
Vince Archer? Yes. And I appreciate that is passed, and I appreciate everybody's input on this. This is a big thing. And I said from the beginning, let's get this right off the get, and I think we're in that right direction, so. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, Michael, thank you for,
Thank you.
okay? Maybe Wayne's not here yet?
No.
Okay. Moving on to item number 9, we're in bond release, you guys. All right, this is item number 9, and Robert Jacobson is going to recuse himself because of prior relationship with the applicants. Sage, you're back in.
Okay.
21 Bluestone Court, in parentheses formerly 264 Lucas Avenue, release of performance bond, Bluestone Commons, 46-unit multifamily residential housing project, section block and lot is 56.88-4-7. It's approved under the old R4 zoning, which is now SD-NF Transect. Ward 1, SSLI Holdings LLC is the owner. Stefan Sanzi and Lucan Durante are here. Welcome. Haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
All right, so last month you were here, Stefan, and you asked for some more time for some consideration at some table. Where are you folks now? You're looking for this and.
But yeah, so we're basically requesting the bond release, which was put in place after the approval. As we were going to begin site work, we did some tree clearing, and we have a couple of stockpiles of soil on the site. Right now, the site is stabilized, but as part of the request, we're giving you a plan for us to spread those stockpiles, to take away the eyesore of that and seed and, hang seed and just get the growth back of the vegetation. So it can sit as a field as we, figure out what we may decide to do.
Okay.
The original project as approved is cost restrictive at this point. It was basically approved right in time with interest rates starting to spike, cost of construction going up, things like that. So we've had a tough time to make it make sense on paper as opposed to the way it did when we started the process of submitting this for.
The cost is nearly doubled since our first budget. That's with the escalated even escalated rents of what market rents are based on what the various numbers are still.
And a couple of points on the interest rate really changes things on
Okay.
$8 to $10 million.
These things happen, you know, all right. So, I mean, we're not gonna be planting trees there, you're taking out a number of trees, and that's not gonna happen, right? What do we need, I mean, John Schultes has been involved with this too, right, to come up with
Right,
that?
so basically, we're going, if they want the bond release, we've talked to them already about a couple of options, that they would have to provide a final grading and stabilization plan that would be acceptable to planning staff and the city engineer first. And then that work would have to be undertaken and completed to, again, to the city's satisfaction. And once that is complete, we would be in a position to release the bond, but they would also be submitting a statement acknowledging that basically the project is no longer.
We're forfeiting the
It
approval.
would
that we
be
have.
accepting that it's not valid and you would be releasing the site plan. Okay,
All right, so, I mean, how much needs to be done on this to?
I saw you submitted something. I haven't had a chance to get with John on what you just submitted the other day to our office to review that. We'll probably end up going up to the site, taking some photos. We'll probably make some recommendations to amend your plan and ask you maybe for a little bit more detail on grading, final grading, and actual plans for reseeding or just revegetating, I'll say, this site. But that won't happen until we get out there right now. Okay.
I mean, you can start now, right, before the snow flies. Is this something that can be done, or is this?
Yeah, I mean, we can basically, if John is okay with the plan or has any other suggestions or whatever, we'll jump right on it.
Okay.
You know, right now the site is stable, and I provided some aerial photos.
I think we talked
It's
about
been a while.
there's some stumps that have been, or, I mean,
That's the part where I want to get his input, because if we pull stumps,
I mean,
we
right,
effectively have to initiate the SWIP, but we're not doing anything after that. So, like, it would be his expertise and call.
so there may be some, you know, cutting some of those stumps down.
Yeah,
left
I
in
mentioned
place,
flush cutting if that was
taking-
preferred,
right.
to take recess things out.
And that's what we need to we have to go out there and be able to just,
Sure.
yes, right.
So this is not something they're gonna have to come back here for an official, I mean, can we authorize it
Yeah.
with, to the satisfaction of planning off to staff and to the city engineering?
And
for the
state,
release?
yeah.
Does that sound good, acceptable to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna have to further discuss it, because this is it. Got anything else on this one?
Well, you're gonna have to make a motion.
No, I know, but do you have anything else to add before?
No.
There's nothing else to add, okay. All right, so at this time, I'll make a motion that we, oh, go ahead, Alderwoman Paskey.
Thank you for letting me ask a question. I just
Yeah.
was curious as to what forfeiting the approval means.
It would basically mean that the next owner of the property or they could reapply under the new form-based code.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't be eligible to apply under the old code. Anything going forward would be under the new zoning code.
So we have to come before the planning board again?
Yes, it would come back to the planning board. Yes, be a fresh start.
Okay, and I would also like to say that since I represent the constituents of Ward 1, I think they'll be very happy to see the property graded and the eyesore removed, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we need to read all this in here? Okay, can you do that for me when I say it? Because I sometimes I can't.
You can't
It's like-
read my hand.
Well, it's like a prescription, it's like a medicine prescription. So, and that's not a knock, because my handwriting's not that good either. So. All right, so this time we'll make a motion that we authorize the release of the performance bond for 21 Bluestone Court, Bluestone Commons, with the following conditions.
And the final grading and stabilization plan be submitted to planning staff and the city engineer for review and approval. That the work then be undertaken and completed to all the site work to the satisfaction of the city engineer and planning staff. And then they would submit a statement releasing the project approval that is acceptable to Corporation Council.
Okay, so that is a motion. Matt Gillis with a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed, carried. All right, gentlemen.
Wait, you did undo it.
What's that?
Wait, you did undo it.
Well, I want to say, I hope that I see you guys back here with some other projects.
We'll be back, sir.
Good to see you.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
Have a good Thanksgiving,
everybody. All right, Sage, you're up. You give Robert back.
Oh, yes, yes.
All right. All right, our final item is item number 10. It's a discussion. 20, and Robert Jacobson is back. You guys sign those things. Okay. 29 Word Street, it's a discussion on special permit for a cultural institution and education center, focusing on music, performing arts, and events. Section block lot 56.42-8-26, Transect Zone T4N, Ward 8, Jack Allen and Sarah Carpenter are the owners, Tom Kruger, the applicant. Hi. Can you state your name for our record, please?
Hi, Tom Kruger.
You are Tom. Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so, yeah, what are you looking to do here?
Okay, so I also bought the parsonage next door, so I'm restoring on Word Street. I don't know if you're all familiar with the property.
It's on Hunter?
It's right at Hunter, yeah. So, and our dream, and even the dream of the people before, the owners currently, she had health issues, and so they sort of decided to give us the project to finish it. So our intention is to put a music school, performing arts, some kind of a event space, and really not change the space at all. We just want to use it sort of as it's built out now, and then comply with whatever codes are necessary and so on. So, but we're in kind of an awkward catch-22 situation right now, which is that they can't donate the building to us until we know that we can do this. So we're sort of trying to get this preliminary thumbs up, and provided that we, cross all our Ts and dot the Is and all the things that we need to do.
Picture behind us.
Yeah, there we are. And there's my place under construction. That's been abandoned for like 25 years, but this place actually has been totally renovated, and it's got all new systems in it. There's some pictures of it. Everything's, in pretty good shape. It needs some attention and so on. And so we just want to kind of open it in phases, and provided basically that would be a code department kind of phase, provided what we can do to kind of get community involvement and yeah, so that's where is that clear about what the situation that we're in, that we're sort of trying to get there's the space as there's some more pictures too of the mechanics, but
That looks a lot different than when I was in that thing.
yeah. I mean, it's in great shape, really. It's an excellent shape. And so downstairs is where the music school will be, and classes and so on and so forth downstairs. And upstairs is where there would be performances. I'm a violinist. My partner, who's Seth Bosted, who runs another nonprofit called Access Contemporary Music. He's a composer, and they do film. He does film composing, and I'm actually a filmmaker as well. And so there's just a lot of potential, and we really want to have community involvement and make it accessible to everybody. And the park right across the street is just a wonderful extension of that, and what we can, festivals and screenings and concerts in the park. And I think it will be a wonderful addition to the neighborhood. And again, we don't really, maybe a sign or two or something. I've walked through the property with Sue and the fire department and the building and safety. So we're getting up to speed, but really I'm so nervous, actually, you can probably tell, but it really kind of comes down to the temperature in this room tonight. as to whether or not they're either going to like sell it to private ownership or they're gonna donate it to the community for us to run this.
You don't have to be nervous in front of this.
I thank you, I'm warming up, but it's, you know, I think.
Relaxed, inviting board that the city has, I think, so, you know.
I do want this so bad, you know, it's gonna be great, and so,
When you say donate to the community, do you mean they would retain ownership and let you use it or donate it to you?
They're gonna donate to
Kyra's got,
Please.
Kyra's got a question for you.
I don't know, behind the church, is there parking?
Yes.
Great.
I mean, yeah,
It's not a big space, but
There is a-
there's a
There's
little
some
bit
there.
of.
And there is a public park across the street, so you have all on-street parking.
Cornell has the, yeah,
All.
yeah, because there's really nothing else going on. That's like.
Like, what would the size and scope of your performances?
well, I mean, I don't, certainly not exceeding anything that it's been as a church, you know, that's, and, you know, it actually has even the seating, yeah, there's that actually is starting to be cleared already. That zone is already starting to get cleared. But, and it goes back into the trees. It's almost like as much in the trees as is showing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, let's see. This whole area back here is parking back in here. You can see that.
Is the house gonna be involved in that?
Only in the sense that like as we want to do composer residencies, so I would probably be putting people up, you know. I mean, it's not gonna be officially, it's separate.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a, I think it's an excellent adaptive use for the church facility. It's no longer, you know, needed for that purpose. You know, and I think it fits in perfectly, I believe, the Rondout neighborhood. And I don't have any issue with it. It does require a special use permit, which we've talked to them about. We've met at the site with the building department to talk about some preliminary issues in terms of code, that might be, you know, concerns. We wanted them to have that information up front before moving forward with any proposal. So, I mean, things are looking, I think, very favorable for it. I don't see an issue at all.
So you just need like a verbal from us tonight?
I think so, and then the owners will say, all right, let's go. Thank you.
Exactly.
Okay, and then we will, of course, be coming again
Right,
and
we'll be
applying for
doing the
that
formal
permit, doing
application.
the formal
Right,
application.
right.
There's a lot involved, especially for a small nonprofit to, you know, the fees and the architects and engineers and all the things necessary, so we definitely want to know.
What was the name of this church?
The Trinity Methodist Church. Yeah.
All right, so how soon will we see you back here?
Hopefully.
Just a quick question, what's the
Yes.
name of your nonprofit?
Well, Kingston Music Initiative is the, what will probably be the one for this space. We haven't quite decided, but Access Contemporary Music is the parent.
Okay.
And they exist, and there's a little bit about them in this discussion here, but it's their performance-based, new music composition, and so on and so forth, so.
Excellent.
And also, they specialize in education for music education for kids.
So when will we see you again?
I hope so. I mean, it really, we're right coming down to it. This is happening.
You need a poll from us, do you?
A poll.
I'm in favor, yes.
Okay, great. Yes. That's what I need. Yeah. Any nays?
Andrew, Vince, Sage, Kyra's a no.
Oh my gosh.
Chuck is good, right? Yeah, we're all good.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, so we'll see you soon then.
See you
huh?
soon.
All right, thank you. And you waited the whole meeting, got to see what it's all about, and you were still nervous. Look at that.
I've been here for the historic meeting.
All right.
That's a whole bit.
Starts was not that
No,
bad.
I'm terrible. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we need,
For me,
but we need them here, right? You have questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so Robert has made a motion to table item number 2. Chuck is the second on that, tabling item number 2. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Motion to adjourn by Matt Gillis, second by Robert Jacobson, all in favor?